So we're obviously all caught up with everything happening between the Baltimore Ravens and Diontae Johnson to this point. But something that I've seen some Ravens fans talk about is the possibility of this actually making the Ravens look bad. But how is that possible when it's Diontae Johnson, the one that refused to enter into the game? We're going to talk about that shortly. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn them notifications on, and leave a like on the video so you can stay up to date with literally everything going on with our favorite football team in Baltimore Ravens. So again, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on, and leave a like on the video. Let's get straight into it. So, obviously, so much of what's going on with Diontae Johnson and the Baltimore Ravens is making Diontae Johnson look bad, especially when he has this sort of rep around the league for quitting on his team. It was said that he quit on the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was even said that there was some times when he ain't even practice with the Panthers, that he even quit on them at times too. So with the Baltimore Ravens, with him refusing to go into that Eagles game, a lot of people are like, man, I guess that's just the rep that he has. Oh, same old Diontae Johnson, there he goes. But at the same time, there's an aspect with all of this going on that paints a bad picture to the Baltimore Ravens as well, especially when it comes to a rep that they have. And that reputation is wide receivers. We know that the Baltimore Ravens have not been a place overall where wide receivers thrive at for so many different reasons, but it just has not been in their culture. Sometimes they don't want to pay wide receivers. Other times they don't want to play wide receivers. Ravens are not a wide receiver friendly team throughout their history. Obviously, it has been getting better over the past couple of years. You see what Zay Flowers been doing over the past 2 years. With Rashad Bateman, it took him a while, but he certainly improved a lot over the past 3-4 years. But Baltimore Ravens are not known to be a wide receiver friendly team. So when they trade for a wide receiver, especially when their wide receivers had been doing good, so a lot of us were thinking, all right, hey, Ravens, they really getting ready to go crazy in the passing game now, and now their depth, the quality of their depth has improved that much more. Oh, Diontae Johnson, it's because he ain't have no quarterback. That's why he ain't do his thing over there with the Carolina Panthers. But now he's gonna be playing with Lamar, and that's gonna be the best quarterback that he ever played with in his career. Ooh, these Baltimore Ravens about to go crazy. But what happened? Nothing. Literally nothing. You trade for a wide receiver who is immediately, as soon as he gets to your team, he's one of the best receivers on your team, and you don't use him. I get when you first got him, needed to ramp up, needed to learn the playbook, needed to get adjusted to the culture, needed to get adjusted to the locker room, needed to get adjusted to the team. I get all of that, but the Ravens still, they didn't use him. They didn't use him. And for whatever reason it is that they didn't use him, who knows what it really is, but the fact remains that they didn't use him. So this makes the Ravens look bad, and this can continue to paint that bad picture of the Baltimore Ravens like, oh, if I'm a wide receiver, especially a high-quality wide receiver, why would I even want to waste my time there? Why would I want to waste my time signing with that team as a free agent? Why would I want to waste my time getting traded there? If they were to acquire me, what am I going to do? Oh, no. I'm going to fail that physical on purpose because I do not want to go to the Baltimore Ravens. And that's really, I know a lot of fans are not going to agree with that, but it's the truth. And it's more so long-term thinking with this whole thing, because this could possibly negatively impact the Ravens in that way. Say, for instance, it's a bidding war for a wide receiver in free agency that they really, really like, they really, really want to get, and it's a good wide receiver too. That wide receiver, obviously, the first thing they're going to be thinking about is money, because these players, they want to get paid. They want to cash in, and I get that. This is their job. Like, you don't play for free. You play to get paid. And, of course, legacy, championships, all that stuff, but all that stuff is second nature for them. They play in order to make some good money doing something that they love, so you got to respect it. But on top of that, if they see, oh, hold up, these Baltimore Ravens, while the price that they're willing to pay me is close to this other team, you know what? I remember what happened with Diontae Johnson. They had Zay Flowers, they had Rashad Bateman, but they added Diontae Johnson, and he obviously has accomplished more than them in his career, and that's no knock to them at all. He's obviously been around longer than both of them have. But the Ravens they did not incorporate him like at all. what are they going to do with me? What if they acquire? What's going to happen with me? What's going to happen with my career? What's going to happen with my talk? What's going to happen with everything with me if I go to those Baltimore Ravens? So that's just something to think about. Now, we hope that with everything that happened with Diontae Johnson thus far, that moving forward after the bye week and after the Giants game, because he ain't playing in that game, but the Ravens, they was like, what are we going to do? Yeah, we probably ain't going to need him for this Giants game. Let's suspend him. So moving forward after that, hopefully they can get him incorporated. They can get him going. They can have him be a part of this offense, or else it makes the trade look senseless, because up to this point, the trade has looked senseless. It's looked pointless. Even before, take out the Eagles game, because obviously he ain't going to the game in that one, but take out the Eagles game. Diontae Johnson on the Baltimore Ravens, they have accomplished nothing with him on the team after the trade. And again, I told you, I was thinking like when they got him, I was cool with it. I'm thinking, oh yeah, he's going to be all number 3 wide receiver and whatnot. And like we talked about yesterday, Josina Anderson, she reported that he's not going to take over for Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman, but he's going to be that number 3 guy. So he's going to sort of fill that Nelson Aguilar role. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So we upgrade our number 3 wide. Oh, that's going to be nice. Imagine them 3 wide receivers. But they just simply have not been using him at all. What was the point in acquiring him if he wasn't really going to be out there? And I get it. Like I said earlier, a ramp-up period would make sense, but it ain't been nothing. It ain't been nothing. It's been nothing happening with Diontae Johnson. Now, is there an issue with him in practice? Is there an issue with him grasping the playbook? I have no clue, but whatever it is, it's been a lot of nothing. So that can paint a picture on the Baltimore Ravens that doesn't look too good. Now, while that picture for the Baltimore Ravens may not look too good, something that always is going to look nice is these Heart of the City Revenge Seasons hoodies. And you can get yours for just $20. That's it. Man, they really love y'all. And if you want this hoodie, not only this hoodie, but also they got an Ed Reed hoodie. They also got a Charm City hoodie. They got the Human Joystick, the Zay Flowers hoodie. If you want any of those, you can hit up Heart of the City. The link will be down below in the description. And get this. On top of those other hoodies, they're all $40. You can use code Ingraven20 and get 20% off. So the hoodies are already at a good price, but to get an even better price, you use our promo code Ingraven20, and that'll drop it down that much lower for you. Now we reach my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you'd like to be part of it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons. If you'd like to join it, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids. You can send a DM directly on Patreon, or if you want to take a unique approach to sending in your question, you can send it to our P.O. Box. The address is down below in the description. Let's get straight into it. First question came from my guy, Vaughn. He said the game is still going on, so he was pleasantly disappointed. Well, maybe not pleasantly. Anyway, he said, I think we can win it. Ooh, yikes. What do you think the Ravens will do with Tucker in the future? I don't know. The immediate future right here, right now, obviously they're going to keep him. But next year, it's really up in the air. Next question came from my guy, Nigel. He said, what's good? Defense played their behinds off. Offense was looking to the bye week already. Can we get Nelly off the field, please? Put Tez Walker in. You know what's crazy? I forget about him. There's been all this talk about Diontae Johnson, especially recently, and Tylan Wallace, Nelson Aguilar, and obviously our top 2, Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers. I always forget about Tez Walker. I really do. Yeah, so that's something to think about. He said, I'm done with Tylan on punt return, and Tucker should have been let go in the offseason. John Harbaugh, this on you. Falele got laughed off the field today, put in a different guard because every team in the playoffs is going to have a good defensive front. And the Ravens got away from the run too early. Henry got to get more carries. They should have been using the RPO like Hurts and Saquon did. Plus, Henry got to stay on the field because he can catch. And him in open space is scary. I agree with that part. Getting him more involved in the passing game, which the Ravens have slowly been doing. Slowly. But there's been improvements nonetheless. He said, I'm out like the Ravens already looking towards their bye week. This question came from my guy, Miles. He said, I want to point this out. The Ravens calling runs, screens, and other short plays on downs further than usually 3rd and 15. These downs could be really used in a way to benefit the Ravens and extend drives. I understand they want to make the punt a teeny bit shorter, or it is risky there. It could be a turnover. A turnover is very unlikely in this situation. Even if not, he can throw it away and then they can punt it from not much further back. And if they do get the first down, then that's good. And we can continue to drive, possibly gaining points in it. I love the videos. I love how you do the mailbag and allow fans of the team to send in questions. I think these Ravens need to improve if they want to be a playoff qualified team, especially in the packed AFC. These Ravens do not look like the 2023-24 Ravens, and it isn't the defense. Oh, you think so? Well, I mean, these last couple of weeks, the offense they ain't been the same as they were earlier this season for sure. Because I remember so many conversations have been, oh man, imagine this offense in 2024 with that defense of 2023. And oh man, we can imagine it. Obviously, it's never going to happen. But we would love if those two could pair with each other. And it seemed like they almost did. And for some of the games last year, they did. But it would have been really, really nice, especially the second year of the offense with Lamar Jackson really taking control of the offense a lot more. But yeah, as far as those long third downs, it all depends on field position. That's what everything depends on. It all depends on field position. A big part of those third downs becoming so long in the first place, though, is the penalties. Now, if the Ravens can consistently get that cleaned up, because again, they did it last week against the Eagles, but they ain't do much of nothing else against the Eagles last week. But if they can get those penalties cleaned up, then that can help them avoid the third and longs. And obviously the play calling too, the situational play calling, that's going to help as well. But everything just depends on field position. I guess I didn't overreact. Next question came from my guy Josiah. He said, what's good, Ingraven? Hope you and the fam are doing well. I'm watching you right now at the end of the game and sound depressed at all the LOL. But in all seriousness, I thought I overlooked when I heard you read my last email out loud when I said I no longer view us as a Super Bowl team and I won't be talking about the Super Bowl till they are celebrating at the end of the AFC Championship game, but I guess I was right. There's all the usual stuff like bad coaching, all the normal Ravens stuff like every other year, but it seems a little different now because how Justin Tucker's regression, the special teams on the whole have been at best average to bad all year, and Lamar has seemingly regressed a little over the past 3 weeks, and also we have just gotten less healthy on offense. Todd Monken has obviously been extremely inconsistent and at times almost incompetent, but it isn't all on him. We lost a threat in Bateman this game, so our offense was limited. Likely was almost phased out of the offense early on, but was still a blocking threat. But then he got injured and is still not healthy, and honestly, yes, our plays are predictable, but I also think the league has just figured out our offense. Lamar's decision-making has been off, and I low-key think he is nursing those back and knee injuries and not saying anything about it like last year when he said after the loss to the Chiefs that he had been banged up, and that's why he hasn't been running. I don't think it's just him preserving himself 100%. He is for sure beat up, and it's a shame because he was having a generational season, but his MVP chances have dropped tremendously. We need a new kicker, punter, and some coaching improvements, but none of these are realistic at this point in time, to be honest. So just like the Ravens will be in the playoffs, I'm out. So Josiah feeling like he's like, no, Ravens ain't no playoff team. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't making nothing happen. All these people have regressed, but he wasn't finished. He said, my fault, Ingraven. I got more to say. I just saw Jeff tweet that Harbaugh went over to Tucker and hugged him and stuff. And I got a question. At what point is the Ravens' loyalty going too far? Ooh, this is what my guy Derek talked about earlier in the week too. Ravens just being loyal to players, and it can sort of get in the way of winning. He said Bateman went down and Diontae didn't get any meaningful snaps every single time. Oh, well, we found out about that later. He sent this on December 1st, so that's before we knew anything. But we found out about that later. He said every single time our offensive line goes up against a good defensive line, they have been destroyed. And there are 2 old linemen sitting on the bench that could help us not getting any playing time because of Harbaugh's dumb doghouse and the loyalty. Whew. He said, may his soul rest in peace. Offensive line coach that passed away. I'm like, sorry, man. Tough changes have to be made, and as a good head coach, you have to recognize those changes and make them. We are wasting a generational quarterback's career over fixable stuff that is in all of our faces. That's deep right there. That is such a powerful statement. We are wasting a generational quarterback's career over fixable stuff that is in all of our faces. And he said, and yes, Lamar has to be better, but part of being a good team is making those things easier for your best player. My goodness, that may have been one of the best one-liners that we have ever gotten, because that's real, and that covers literally everything about the Baltimore Ravens. Anyway, he said, sorry for the double email, but I appreciate you giving us a place to vent and share our opinions on the team. Oh no, it's all good, my friend. I appreciate you even sharing your opinions in the first place. And he actually got another opinion to share about Lamar Jackson running. He said, hey, Ingraven, hope all is well with you and yours. I'm writing this because I'm tired of the flock repeatedly asking Lamar to run more as if he doesn't have 700 yards on the season. Like the issue is our receivers getting shut down against good defenses. And it's not about Lamar running. That's a good point. With the Ravens, I was just talking to one of my guys about this today. When they go against physical teams, physical defenses especially, things change for them in a big way. But anyway, he said, yes, he can take some of the easy first downs when he's in short yardage situations, but people seem to forget Lamar saying he learned last year in the AFC Championship game that he has to preserve himself more in the regular season because he was too worn out in that game. He ran for over 100 yards against the Chiefs, who have a top 5 defense, and we still lost. And I saw a tweet that expressed this same opinion, and it said, I hope Ravens fans clamoring for Lamar to run more realize that it's going to affect his accuracy as a passer. There's a reason why he runs less. His accuracy is generally better. He's not dead leg with his mechanics late in games and fatigued. Just know what you're asking for. And he said, I 100% agree because I'm sure we all remember the game against the Chiefs where he missed a wide open Zay before the likely throw. What do you think? Yeah, that's a good point. One of my guys was talking to me about that the other day about when Lamar Jackson, if he's running more, like this goes back to actually when we had my guy all 22 films on, when we had him on, and he brought up such a great point when he talked about how Lamar Jackson, his lack of fatigue is crazy because he does so much every single snap on offense for the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, they're starting quarterback, but for years and years and years, he had been their leading rusher. Obviously, their leading passer as the quarterback, but he's actually do so much. And then with the offensive line struggling for years, then he got to run around. He got to evade defenders and still be asked to make accurate throws every single throw, every single time, every single game. So it's like, man, so much is asked of him and so much that he has to do on a weekly basis. That's exhausting, man. That's exhausting, but he still shows up. He don't complain, don't whine, don't do none of that stuff. He still goes out there and does his thing. But that's a lot to put on somebody's plate like that. And yeah, like you mentioned, you got 678 yards rushing. You definitely been running. But yeah, that is something that got to be careful what you wish for. Next question came from my guy Chris. He said, I absolutely love watching your videos, and I'm glad you see a lot of the same things that I see while watching. Oh, okay. Appreciate you, Chris. Appreciate you watching the videos. But if we see a lot of the same things, that might mean you might be crazy like me too then. He said, do you think Lamar holds the ball longer than he should be? It seems like he does so much better when he releases the ball in under 2 seconds. Thank you again for everything you do. Coming from a Ravens fan from Texas who's been a huge fan since 1996. Oh, since the inception. That's a long time, my friend, but appreciate you, man. Do I think Lamar holds the ball too long or longer than he should be? No. Now, I do think the Ravens could do a much better job of incorporating a short passing game more consistently, whether it's slants, whether it's somebody just coming across the field. You incorporate a short passing game just to mix it up. Now, I will say with Lamar Jackson, when he does hold the ball, a lot of times, and you see it, when we watch him, the offensive line won't be blocking for very long. They won't be blocking for very long, so he'll hold the ball, he'll snap it, and then he'll be looking, boom, pass rushes in his face, so now he got to run around. Now he got to evade defenders while he waits for his wide receivers to come open. So he's waiting for that. Then, somebody comes open. Lamar try to get it to him. So sometimes it's a big play, it's a huge play. I'll be like, yeah. Sometimes it's a sack, it's an incompletion. It could be a loss of y'all, and we'll be like, oh, man. So that's just part of it. But I think the biggest reason why Lamar holds the ball longer than a lot of people will like him to sometimes is because there is a lack of a short passing game consistently with the Baltimore Ravens. You mix that with the lack of protection up front. Boom. Next question came from my guy Brad. He said, I've been watching the content for a couple of years and I've been a Ravens fan since 1997. Appreciate you, Brad. He said, having grown up in a Steelers household, ooh, that's rough. He said, I'm sure you can imagine the living room during black and blue bowl game. Oh, that's tough, man. Ooh, I'm sure y'all had a lot of fun times. Maybe not so much a couple of weeks ago when we played the Steelers, but this week, well, not this week, but the upcoming game against the Steelers, Ravens got you. He said, this is my first question that I sent in. It seems to me that our biggest issue is special teams. That is a huge issue. Special teams has certainly been lacking, and I think that's why they've been so willing to experiment. Like you see at punt return, they've been trying some different things there, and I think they weren't tripping when Diontae Hardy got hurt because he wasn't really doing nothing back there. He wasn't doing anything back there, so they were like, oh, okay, he's hurt. You know what? Injury reserve. We'll put somebody else back there. They put Tyler Wallace back there, and it ain't really been much of anything. And then at kick return, they tried who they had before. They had Deontay Hardy and Justice Hill. Again, wasn't much of anything really going on back there. So then Keith Mitchell came back. They're like, all right, Keith Mitchell and Justice Hill. Ain't really been much. So then they'll be, all right, Rasheen Ali and Justice Hill. Let's try that. So first game, it was solid. And Rasheen Ali actually surprised me because I ain't really like him at return in the preseason. But Rasheen Ali was like, you know what? That's just preseason. Don't worry about that. So They just been trying stuff. But anyway, special. And then, of course, with the kicking game, we ain't even got to get into that. Anyway, he said, we have lost several games off of missed field goals and extra points. This last game against the Eagles, we should have won. 7 points that Tucker missed. What I've noticed is that Tucker seems to have started declining after setting the record. Do you think his issues are mental or physical? I think it's definitely mental. I think it's definitely mental because he still gets the distance on the kicks. The kicks go far enough. They just be going wide left. This question came from my guy Marc G. He said, Ingraven, you one-on-one with Ravens content. Keep on keeping on, brother. Hey, appreciate you, coach. He said, man, do you think the Ravens are better by addition, by subtraction? It's obviously Bateman ain't really happy as a Raven, and it's hard in general for receivers to be happy in our system, it seems. Ooh, you see what we were talking about earlier with Ravens' reputation at wide receiver? Again, Zay Flowers he's on his way to being an anomaly, but yeah, anyway, continuing. He said, is this a bad reflection on Lamar? No, I don't think so. It's not. Because this has been an ongoing thing with the Baltimore Ravens for pretty much forever. Right? Yeah, pretty much forever. It's been a system thing. It's been like Ravens have never really been wide receiver friendly like ever. I mean, Hollywood did his thing. You saw that. Zay Flowers has been doing his thing, but overall it's just it ain't really been too fan. Hollywood said, man, I got 1,000 yards. I still want to leave. I don't like this system, man. I want to do more. I want to be better. So, anyway, he said, I mean, he's leading the league in touchdown passes, so he's throwing the ball to somebody, right? So, who are these receivers mad at? He's spreading the ball around, and Zay has proven to be a number one target by being a top 5 receiver yardage-wise. Maybe we just got to trade Bait and Likely. Whoa, what are you trying to get rid of my dog Likely? No. Anyway, he said, maybe we just got to trade Bait and Likely in the package so we can get some real value back on defense. I don't think we'll be able to hold on to a talent like Likely and keep Mark Andrews. Long question, but I'm just thinking about the future of our Ravens and where we can improve. Be blessed, my brother. No, yeah, you keep Likely as long as you possibly can. Are you going to pay Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely at the same time? They most likely won't. So when that time comes, you're going to have to make a decision on that. But as far as the wide receivers, as far as what the issue is, I think it's just been consistency. Because Ravens wide receivers, especially look at this year alone, they'll go off. They'll go off for a game or 2 or 3, and then they'll get kind of quiet. It's like, hey, what happened to those guys? What's going on? So the Ravens just got to find more ways to consistently get them involved. Next question came from my guy TJ. He said, we got Diontae Johnson for what again? To ride the sidelines like a rookie at home. The Ravens just straight disappointed me just watching that game as a fan. Every time the defense plays remotely good, the offense is nowhere to be found. Wow. God bless the family, the channel, and our disappointing Ravens. Yeah, that was certainly a disappointing game. And we waiting for all 3 phases of the game to come through on the same week again. It's happened twice so far, but we could use it a good 7-8 more times. Next question came from my guy Joseph. He said, longtime fan of the channel and been riding with the Ravens since 96. Appreciate you, Joseph. Thank you. He said, I just want to give a different perspective and some thoughts. I tend not to get too high or too low to a win or a loss, and I make a living evaluating human psychology, and I see something that I think is the actual case, and it is in the team and the coaches. The swagger is gone. Big trust is gone. The idea of win the moment at any cost is gone. What they need to find is something deep inside, not something on tape. Fans want to fix what is seen, but the effort and that dog is between you and you. Tucker is still Tucker, and he doesn't need a competition. He needs to find his cape and put it on. He needs to find a way to become 2012 playoff Flacco for this stretch run. Always love your content, Joe. Ooh, that's deep right there. What a boy. He brought out the evaluation and everything of the team. And that's a good point. Like, Ravens, remember in 2019, like, they were obviously doing their thing. But they were having a lot of fun with it. And like you talked about, big trust, that was that year. You look at last year, the Ravens just killing it. Kyle Hamilton brought up a good point on Punchline Podcast this week. I gotta watch the whole episode. I just saw the clip, but he talked about how he feels. He said, "Oh yeah, we feel like we can still win the Super Bowl this year," and I do too. But he talked about how with last year, as opposed to last year, he said they didn't really face no adversity. They ain't faced no adversity. And last year, when you think about it, they really didn't, because they went 13-4 last year, and they only lost 3 games with their starters the whole year. They lost 3 games with their starters, because remember that 4th game that they lost was to the Steelers, and a bunch of starters ain't even play that game. So they've already lost more games this year with their starters than they lost all of last season. So they face plenty of adversity. But with these Baltimore Ravens, you mentioned Justin Tucker. He gotta find it within himself. The Baltimore Ravens as a whole, they gotta find it within themselves. And I think that's a really, really good point because the talent is there. It's there. They have a good enough team to get it done. They just gotta make it happen. And that's why I think like this week, the bye week, it comes at a really good time. It's toward the end of the season. You 8-5, and you got some time to really step back and be like, whew, take a deep breath and just get away from football for a little bit. Well, at least the players can. The coaches, they said, no, we still gonna be here. We ain't got no bye week. Even though it seemed like in some of them games they be taking time off. But anyway, the players, they get some time off, but the coaches, they got extra time in to really just go over everything, analyze everything, go through everything. And when the players get back, then they can get on the same page. But this is a great time for them just to reset physically for sure, but even more so mentally. Because as y'all already know, football is 90% mental. It's only 10% physical. It's 90% mental. It's so much here that you got to have, even to step on the field in the first place, but to go against somebody else that's 200-something, 300 pounds every single play, you got to be mentally tough to do that, man. Yeah, you could be strong. You'll be the strongest guy in the world. You could be physically all that and whatnot, but if you ain't got the mentals, they're going to psych you out, man, and you're going to lose before you even step on the field. So, like you said, I think it's very important that the Baltimore Ravens, they get their mentals right for not only this game against the Giants, but also moving forward for the rest of the season. So, good point. Next question came from my guy, Peanut. He said, hope you and the fam are doing well. Hey, we doing good, my guy. Hope you're doing even better. He said, my question is, do you think it's time for a new field goal kicker? Well, this season, I would say yes, but, I mean, it ain't going to happen. So, maybe next year. Anyway, he said, I'm tired of seeing missed opportunities like the ones we are having with the missed extra points and field goals. Every game we lost this season has not been in our favor with the misses. We keep Justin Tucker and use him for kickoff still, but we use another kicker for extra points and field goal attempts. I know the Ravens are big on loyalty. Hey, so you already know, like, with everything that you said about bringing in another kicker, you just erased it all with what you said, because what you said is true. The Ravens are big on loyalty. But anyway, he said, but each game we've lost could have had different outcomes if those extra points and field goals were made. I love Justin Tucker, and it hurts seeing him keep missing point after point. Oh, yeah, it hurts every time. It hurts every time. And initially, it's like when you're watching the game, when we all watching the game, when we see that first miss, it's like a little bit of shock, but more so hurt. Because this year, it just, after you see miss after miss after miss after miss after miss, it ain't surprising no more. It's not a shocker anymore. It's more sad than anything because you automatically think about this year, but then you think about all the good times too. And you're like, man, how did this fall off happen like this? What is going on to where Justin Tucker just cannot get it together? It's a big issue. But we know that this issue is, I can't say it won't get resolved because it could get resolved by him just making the kicks. But he ain't going nowhere this year. Now, next year, I don't know. I just really have no clue what they'll do next year. But I'm glad that we don't got to have those conversations yet because we still got work to take care of this season. Next question came from my guy, Chaz. He said, give Derek the ball in this game their chances to put 7 points on the board. Instead, we throw the ball to Mr. Drops 15 himself. Can the Ravens upgrade there and give either Dayton Wade or Tez Walker that spot? Man, I forget about Dayton Wade too. But yeah, somebody else bringing up Tez Walker. He said he never gets it done when it's time to. Instead of throwing it to him, we could have ran the ball and used RPO like the Eagles did to us. Todd has to make better decisions. Lamar has to start running when there's nothing available too. What if there's no running available for him? But anyway, he said, last but not least, automatic 9 is no more. We need to address that fast. He's going to cost us in the playoffs just like he did in that Eagles game. 12 points left off the board. Todd, if you see him struggling, you call better plays to move the chains. Glad we are in the bye week and we still have to fix stuff ASAP. What should the Ravens do? Just like Tucker's leg, I'm out. And he put hashtag, it used to be automatic 9. But yeah, not no more. And like my guy mentioned in the previous question, Ravens, the talent is there. With a kicker, does a kicker just fall off like that? Does it just happen like that? I mean, apparently so with JT, but that's going to be our guy, so we got to ride with him. So hopefully, whatever the issue is, he can get it right. He can get it right. Like we talked about earlier, somebody asked, do you think it's a mental or physical thing? I said, no, it's definitely mental because the kicks, they go far enough. It ain't like they coming up short, but they keep on sailing. They keep on sailing. So, yeah, Ravens got, like you mentioned, the bye week. They at the bye week, so they do got some stuff to fix, and hopefully they get it right. Again, I like the fact that the coaches are staying in, but I would think, hey, you know what? Maybe they need some time off too. Maybe they need some time off too, because a lot of times if we work a job, especially a tough job, and I mean really every job got its tough aspects of it, but if we working our job and we just nonstop working, and especially if we working and we struggling too, that can get to you. That can beat you up mentally big time. So you need to take some time off. You need to take some time away from whatever it is you do for work. That's why you don't work 24/7. You work for maybe 8 hours a day, depending on what job it is. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But you work for a certain amount of time, and then you take that time off. And then normally you'll have a day or two off during the week or the weekend or whatnot, so you can sort of rejuvenate, relax, and replenish yourself. I think the coaches need to do the same thing. Again, Harbaugh talks about, oh yeah, we're going to be here during the bye week and whatnot. Coaches ain't going nowhere. Maybe y'all need to take some time off too. Next question came from my guy Aaron. He said he missed 7 points in the game. That's anticlimactic. Hey man, what's up, brother? The game's anticlimactic. The kicker cost us 6 points. My heart is broken. 7 points. Make those 2 kicks and we should somehow won. Saquon is the MVP, period. Lamar did everything he could to win. The defense and the offense did everything they could to win. Defense, yes. Offense, no. He said Justin accounted for 16 points in these 3 games against the Browns, Steelers, and Eagles. We lost by the combined margin of 12. That's 3 points of margin or 1 and a 1/3 point margin of a win. But by counted, I meant to say that he left 16 points. If he made all the kicks, we should be 11-2 or 10-3 or at worst 9-4. This is the worst and the saddest decline in NFL history. I hate to say it, but Justin Tucker is not the GOAT anymore. Thanks for reading my email. Your boy, Aaron. Oof. I mean, couldn't said it better myself.